Hey, welcome to our Victory at Home interviews. We're so excited that you've joined us for one of these, and we'd encourage you to check them all out. And we're trusting that as you watch this and learn from our guests, that there will be at least one nugget of gold that is super helpful and impactful for you and your home to help you thrive. Okay, so this is really cool. We have Jason and Rilene Johnson here. And these guys have been close friends, actually, of ours, of our family, so it's pretty special to have you. And this is for what we're doing right now. We're doing something called Victory at Home. So you guys who are joining us, you might be on YouTube or on Facebook or some platform where we have some of our Victory at Home interviews. And what we're really trying to do is just bless individuals, couples, families, share a little bit of your own experience and your own wisdom, and say what are some of the things you've learned along the way that have helped you find victory in your own home. So I've been out to your place. You guys got a great place, and you guys live on a farm, right? So why don't we just start by maybe just introducing yourselves, tell us a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll dive into asking you questions about how to win at home.
I'm Jason Johnson. Been married to Rilene Johnson for how long have we been married?
Almost 20 years.
Wow, good job.
Yep. I was born and raised on a farm, and I'm still in the same house I grew up in, and I ran away to the city for a year or two to be able to find a wife, and got lucky enough to make that happen, and I got married, and 20 years go by pretty quick.
And you're literally at the 19-year mark, so...
Yeah, November will be 20.
November, so that's a pretty big deal. Got big plans?
We haven't had victory on that yet. Yeah. Camping?
Yeah. Camping in November, I hear, is really fun, actually. So, yeah, perfect. Cool. Okay, and you guys live near Assiniboia, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just north of Assiniboia, yep. And we have a couple kids. Do you want to talk about kids?
So Ethan is just turned 13 and Peyton's 10.
Yeah.
And our oldest, Jacob, would be 16 this fall, and he passed away when he was 9. Yeah. So that's our story of our family.
Yeah. Your boys. Yeah.
I always thought I'd have a daughter, but boys for me.
Yeah, and that's been quite a journey, right? I mean, obviously the struggle there too, a difficult journey. And here you are now enjoying the two boys, right? And they're 13 and 10. Yeah. Man, it's crazy to think.
And we kept them home this year, so homeschooling was fun. It was something we never thought we would do, and
right.
Here we are at the end of the year, and we made it.
So why'd you homeschool them? What happened?
We just decided, we wanted them home for harvest, and when COVID shut the schools last spring, we just enjoyed having them home and thought, we're keeping them home for harvest for sure, and then harvest came and went, and we thought, this is pretty fun.
So some of the COVID complications
played into it, and
then it seemed like it was working out well, and of course being on the farm, it was advantageous too, right? The boys like to help out on the farm.
Great age, so I've really enjoyed the year. So if not for the school part, just having them around has been really good.
Yeah.
So
I know this because I know you guys, and I talk to other people who know you guys, and everybody I talk to, and certainly my wife and I too, we look up to you guys in your home life, your family life. We always think, wow, those guys are so nice, and they got such a great home, great family, and I'm quite confident it's not perfect, but you've done some things right?
Made a good job of making it look like that.
Yeah, exactly.
good attitude.
Yeah.
So what would be, if somebody's coming to you and going, man, I'm impressed with how you guys run your home, what would be some of the things that would just come to top of mind where you'd go, well, these are some of the things that have worked for us or helped us?
Well, like when I think of this past year, it's hard when you're not in the little kid season anymore. You kind of forget what made it work when they're little. But for this season we're in now, I feel like in the house, what works for me and the kids is routine.
Okay.
My kids really like doing the same things, even though it doesn't always be the same. Like farm life doesn't allow it to be the same, but routine where you can works for us. And lots of talking, lots of communicating, lots of time where you think you should be doing something else, but you're talking and working things through. And
so routines with the kids, what would that look like? Like what would be a...
Well, for school, for instance, every day it started at 9.
Right,
So
okay.
that
So
was
you have a
just,
start time.
we had a start time.
Yeah.
So they got up at a certain time. They still made their bed. We still got dressed, did the same routines.
Yeah.
For us, that works good. Then we're ready for the day.
Yep.
And the kids always knew what was coming, and they knew they worked till noon and then could help dad or be outside. That worked really good for us for this season.
Yep. I think that's huge. I think routines are good. First of all, they give you expectations, right? But also they give you kind of a boundary for life, because in any given moment, you don't always feel like doing what you ought to do. But if you're in a routine, you're not making a decision in that moment, right? You're not like struggling. Yeah, it's just what we're doing. So there's no...
And for us, it just cut down on the, do we have to do school today? It's like, no, we do it every day till noon. And
Yeah, there's no discussion about it.
Yeah.
There's no debate. It's just...
because I definitely found at the end of our year when we were less routine about it, they complained way more. It was just
Right.
so we just had to say we're finishing June 1st.
Right.
So don't complain until we're doing it till then. So this is
Yeah, then there's effort. Like if you're not in a routine, it takes effort and it takes that little complaining piece. I think that's huge. And that wouldn't even just be true for kids. That'd be true for all of us. I mean, when I'm not in a routine and then I'm thinking of doing what I know I should do, I complain. I'm like, oh, do I have to? Oh, right? Like,
Well, and I think of chores in the house too
Yeah,
is another
exactly.
example. Like if every day you say to your kids, move your shoes, eventually you're like, I tell you every day the same thing.
Right.
So we're obviously doing something wrong. So let's figure out what will
Right.
work so that tomorrow I don't have to tell you. You just do
right.
it.
How do we make this just
Yeah. Because this is getting old. So.
I'm probably the biggest culprit on that.
Yeah.
Or make your bed, or any age of kid can have chores and do something, but if you're saying the same thing over and over again, you need to shift how you're saying it because it's not working.
Yeah.
And you just end up frustrated.
Very cool. So routines help, and then you named something else. Do you remember what it was? We'll get back to it.
Yeah.
Communication.
Oh, I said
yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
I think, if there has been something we've gotten better over the years would be communication, which would probably be the key ingredient, I think, to our marriage and our house is communication. Because you and I disagree and differ on just about everything.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm not right, and I'm not wrong, and you're not right, and you're not wrong. But communication, just on everything, is pretty important. And the longer we've been married, and we've just honed that skill, right? The biggest thing is over the last 5-6 years. We spend time out every night. Not every night. We try to, though. Sitting in a hot tub. It's one of those things that we can do instead of sitting in front of a TV or on a couch or something like that. And we debrief, right? We debrief.
Yeah, the kids are in bed.
Yep.
Kids are in bed.
guys.
It's our time.
And there's nothing else there to sort of distract you, so you can just be together.
Yep. And I mean, I must say, you probably use up about 80% of the talking.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's what you need, right? And it's healthy for our marriage. And you want to know a little bit. And a lot of times, especially when it pertains to the kids, you're saying, oh, this didn't work. And then we kind of, come up with a game plan. And you might not agree with what. And, we'll do it for a week, one way. And if that's not working, we'll talk about it in the hot tub together. And let's attack this differently the next week.
And I find it even more valuable in seasons when there's lots of change, like Ethan, our oldest, becoming a teenager. There's different struggles. There's different changes happening, right?
Yeah.
So it's more important for us to talk in those seasons. Or if you have little ones and you're starting to discipline them, like it's just more important in certain seasons to talk and be on the same page.
Totally. And I think it's huge to just state that, like, I love that statement, we don't agree on everything, right? I think sometimes we assume in a healthy relationship, you'd agree about stuff. But the truth is, healthy relationships actually have disagreeing, because that means you're individuals, right? Yeah. If you never disagreed, then basically you're the same person, and you don't want to be married to yourself, right? Yeah, totally. It feels like it.
Eventually, if you never felt heard, that would cause other issues.
Exactly. And sometimes that happens in a relationship where one or the other just has no opinion, right? No view, no opinion. They just go with the other person. But most relationships experience exactly that. They experience, wow, we disagree about lots of stuff. And that's actually normal, good, healthy. I think of our church staff. We have a church staff, a whole bunch of people. I don't want everybody to have the same opinion, right? I want us to all have different views, bring our views together, make decisions, out of those, learn from each other. And, you still have to make a decision. You still have to make a call and all of that. But like you say, communication's the way through that to the other side. So, yeah. Cool.
Lots of times in the house when we're on the communication piece, like I'm thinking of the time when I'm just with the kids. Sometimes you just have to pause. Probably the biggest thing I've learned this year with having them home all the time is you just have to take a pause, walk away. If it's not going how you think it should, take a breath. Everyone can have a minute, and then you come back. Like, I don't like yelling. I don't like, talking over my kids. So I just think sometimes you just need to have a break. You come back and say, this is what's hard. This is what you did. This is what I expect. Yeah. Let's try again.
Okay, so in a frustrating moment with the kids, or maybe even with each other, right? You might get to a... Well, with the kids, I was just saying, So, yeah, sometimes you get to sort of an impasse. Yeah. This is not working. And you're saying, rather than sort of escalate more, you'd say, let's take a break. Let our insides settle a little bit, then come back to this.
And I think it's good too for the boys your kids to see you say sorry. Right. Like, I overstepped, or I shouldn't have said that to you. I'm sorry. Sure. Yeah. Like, especially with Ethan's age, the older ones, because they're trying to figure out who they are and where they fit and where the boundaries are. So if I come to Ethan and say, I'm sorry I said that, it's like, oh, right. Mom makes mistakes too? Right. Okay, and then I find them quicker to apologize to each other because they're like, it's been modeled. Right. That saying sorry is okay and a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you say to them, you need to be saying sorry to me, but you don't model it back, it's a pretty hard,
Like, I'm sorry I did this. This is why. Do you want to say anything to me now that you know how I was feeling? And
sure, yeah, neat.
And sometimes when it's really escalated, we just go to Jason and we're like, hey, we need some help here.
Right, bring in another part.
We just like, I can't see how he's seeing it. He's not seeing how I'm seeing it. So.
Yeah, can you help us figure this out? Right, yeah, cool.
This, mediating.
Yeah, he's sometimes a mediator.
Yeah. Knowing which camp to be on is the tricky part sometimes.
Yeah, what was our old rule? Mom is never wrong, right? And then rule number 2, we always had 2 rules in the house. So rule number 1 is mom is never wrong. And then rule number 2 is if mom is ever wrong, refer to rule number 1, right? Should be good. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Okay, so those are some pieces. Anything else that would come to mind?
Those would be the main ones. I mean, there's so many aspects of it, but what do you think?
Yeah, just time. Like, you're just spending time. It doesn't have to be when you're not working, but we spend time with them working. We spend time.
Yeah, so actually that's one of the neat things I think with you guys. Like, you're on the farm. Obviously it's a busy life. You got a lot going on. But I hear you guys make comments here and there about Sabbath or a day off, right? Where you're not going to be sort of dialed into the chores. What does that look like for you guys?
Well, I guess that's one of those things I've grown up with. I guess the Johnson farm has been around for a while, and it was one of those things that God told my father not to do, and not to work on Saturdays. And the biggest thing is it's not working on Sunday, but just I think it's a day off, the day to go to church, a day to be with the family, a day to recharge the batteries. And it's one of those things that, I might not have understood at first, but the older I get, I'm glad I, listened to his wisdom on that aspect. And it's very important to, take a break, to have a rest on Sunday. The kids, a day, right? Yes, exactly. Something I look forward to, and you look forward to, and the kids look forward to, is the day just to get together and play. And
So that's neat. You get something to look forward to, right? There's a gift in that. I think sometimes people see like this term Sabbath or a day of rest almost like legalistically, like it's something I have to do. Right. But you guys have found a way to flip that and say it's something I get to do, right? It's something we look
forward to it. And on days when you're trudging through something, you know Sunday's coming, and Sunday's just a reference. It could be a Saturday or Thursday or whatever, but you just know that day's coming. Especially when we had little ones, like, you know, Sunday was the only day we saw Dad, and Dad got to see the kids all day, so it's you just look forward to it.
And I do think sometimes a lot of families, and it's worked really well for us, I try not to do something that would just be me. Like, it would be nice just to be able to go fishing.
Sure.
And
be alone
like on your Sabbath.
Exactly. You know, I mean, typically that's probably what there's time and a place to, and I do need it once a week or a year, I should say, to get away and, you know, have a guy's trip or something like that. But Sundays aren't that day. Sundays are a day to be with the family, especially when the kids were little or whatever, to be able to, parent together as a team for the whole day, not have any interruptions. And even though it'd be super nice to go golfing or, you know, and I'm not saying that's bad, but for us, that's just been super important to do something more intentionally as a family together. Go for a quad ride, go for a walk, go for a hike, just play catch. You know, one of our traditions that we always, or, you know, especially in the summertime, is wiener roast on Sunday night, right? If it's not just with our family, with another family.
Yeah, I was part of one of those. It was like some hours ago, I don't know how many hours, but that was a blast. And to interact together around the fire and just visit and hang out. And there's something peaceful, but also rejuvenating, right? It recharges you, and
There's always like gifts in the pause. When you slow down and you take time, there's little memories made that you can't plan for.
Yeah.
So
theologically, like from a pastor Bible perspective, this would be very much what I think Jesus was trying to bring into his day. You've got these Pharisees who are very legalistic, and they've turned God's laws into burdens. And Jesus is like, guys, the Sabbath was meant to be a gift, right? This is meant to be a wonderful thing for you. And you've turned it into something where you're using it to sort of beat yourselves up and beat other people up. And God made his laws to free us, not to bind us up, right? So what did I hear today? I heard Sabbath is for rest, for worship, and for delight. I thought, what a great little list, you know, rest, worship, delight. And you guys have modeled that really well. It's been something that I've learned from you guys over these years. So that's a pretty cool piece and pretty neat for a family to invest in that and delight in that. And
Definitely our favorite day of the week, eh? And for some reason, they go awfully quick.
Right.
The day.
Yeah. And then you're back to the week.
Exactly.
Then you got something to look forward to.
Exactly. 6 more days.
Very cool. I was going to say too, your illustration of not, trying to be careful about not just going off by yourself, right? It's funny that this struck a memory for me. My dad told me one time that he loved golfing as a young man and thought about taking it up. And then us kids were little, and he just thought, that's going to have to wait till later in my life. Because it just chews up a lot of hours, and it's not, not first priority at this moment. And so sometime I'll get my chance, right? But yeah.
Rilene has had to tough a lot of Sundays out, doing boy things, right? Quadding and stuff like that. She's probably sacrificed more than anybody doing the family stuff, right?
Once or twice.
Yeah, Sabbath is for shopping. It's probably what it's for.
That's
but
nice.
It's a good thing I'm not like Kyle and have 5 girls or something like that. We got to do, yeah.
You made the other.
Yeah, fun. Okay, so that's another piece. Trying to think if there's other things that have stood out to me over the years with your guys' home. But Sabbath is an important one. What about meals? Do you guys do meals together, apart? How does that work for you?
It depends on the seasons.
Yeah.
But when we can, we like to enjoy meals together as a family. Winter, it's every night we have supper around the table and talk and debrief on the day. We always generally have breakfast together too. And with the kids being home this year, we had lunch together lots too. So actually, we've had lots of around the table time. But
I do think, I don't know, we're kind of old school that way. I think breakfast and morning routine for family is so important. Parents, get up in the morning. Make breakfast, lay breakfast out for your family, figure out what you're all doing for the day, try to do devotion together as a family. I don't know.
And none of those things have to be complicated. You don't have to have a devotion that's 5 pages long. There's lots that are catered to kids that are 1 page, short, but it instills it in them early that it's important. And your whole day stems from it.
Right.
Like your whole day
starting your day sets the tone for the rest of your day. Yeah.
You know, and we know in mornings that we've slept in or we're too lazy to get up out of bed in the morning, and you know you're a half hour late, and you know the bus is coming to pick up the kids in 20 minutes, so you rush out the door. You're yelling and screaming at each other because you're not ready. Right. It just sets a bad tone for the day. The kids
sending your kids on the bus either crying or upset or just not feeling settled with the day, and you're like, oh.
They didn't get, fed. They're hungry. Their days off. They're not thinking properly. Where peaceful time in the morning. It just sets the mood right. They get, breakfast. I think is an important part, and just that family time together in the morning, and it just creates a routine, which I think is healthy too.
Huh. That's helpful. That's a very cool. I hadn't. I never put all those things together. I like it. I really like the thought, like, if you're rushed, you tend to not treat each other as well, right? You tend to feel that stress, all those different things. And I've certainly had both kinds of mornings. I've had mornings where it's all just stress and go. And actually, as a pastor, one of my sort of things that always rolls around in my mind is I imagine families driving to church and just having it out on their way, like, roar, and we're late again, and
You say that. I think Sundays are the worst mornings for us because usually Saturday night you stay up late, right? You get out of routine, and then you sleep in as late as possible, and it's probably the most. We're all trying to get in the shower and we're in that peace together.
On Sundays I often imagine families, and I always think as a pastor, one of my goals is to kind of set the table here for people to put all that aside, come in, start your day again, right? Yeah. Right. And so I hope that our services are a little gift to people that way to reset and all of that. But I know it's stressful. I mean, I know we live it, right? We're human, we live that, and but the idea of having a morning routine is helpful.
And it seems like this day and age, suppers are hard to do with sports and stuff like that. So, but it seems like everybody's day usually starts around between 6 and 8. So get up an hour early, do breakfast together, talk about where everybody's headed for the day, and just set the tone right for the day as a family.
Neat. That's cool. And that could even be an alternative for families. Like some families might say, well, we can't do supper this time. Then they say, well, let's make sure we're doing at least one meal together today.
And for us, that's breakfast.
And I think sometimes moms have the tendency to get overwhelmed at that thought, like to start something new like that, like I have to make them all breakfast. But it doesn't have to be complicated. Like that's what I was saying is you pick something easy that doesn't take a lot of time, like the devotion part. It doesn't have to be a 5-chapter reading where everyone's staring and sitting quiet. We have like lots of fun books that the kids have had, and it's like about science or how God relates to science, or just like a 5-minute thing while the kids are eating, and it can be cereal. It doesn't have to be a fancy breakfast. Right. It's just that everyone's eating together.
Have your Cheerios, and hopefully you got some milk.
Yeah.
And you're good to go.
And then I think if you try it, you'll see your kids start to enjoy it and look forward to it and want that. Because I think every child craves routine.
Yeah.
No,
I think you're absolutely right. That's huge. So if you wanted to look for a devotional book, I bet you could talk to our children's pastor, and she would be delighted, Pastor Rilene. I'm sure would be delighted to help you find one that was age appropriate and whatever worked for your family. Cool. Cool. Wow. Well, that's fun, you guys. I don't know. Is there any other advice or wisdom comes to mind that you'd like to share with those who are joining us?
example you came up with in the car, like you used a metaphor of a sunset and the beach. It was really good. I'll mess it up if I try it.
Okay, start. I'll finish it.
Well, he was just saying how on a day with your family, like sometimes you're in a season where things are really good. You're like, pretend you wake up and like at the beach and there's waves and it's beautiful. There's a sunset. Like everything is just good. You look at your family in your house and you're like, wow. And in those moments, you need to thank God. You need to realize what's in front of you and be grateful for it. But you also need to be praying, because that can change. The next morning, the wind can shift, life can change in an instant, and it's different. So you need to thank God for these times, but be prepared for these as well.
Yeah, I think, as we were talking on the way up, it's windy and it's warm today. And yeah, like family life is like that. Man, some nights you're sitting on a beach and the sunset's beautiful, right? And then, you never know what the next day's going to bring, but the next morning it might be a hurricane or a blizzard or whatever. So in those moments, really enjoy it. And then when you're on those windy days or in a blizzard, just, go to work and get through it and get ready.
That's neat. So try to keep perspective, right? On the good days, enjoy them, make the most out of them. But remember, there's probably going to be some storms. And then on the stormy days, remember, like, it's not all storm, right? There is some good days.
There's this saying I like. It's like, not every day is a good day, but there's good in every day. So like, not every day is a great day, but there's good in it.
Yep, that's a great perspective. And you know what? That's home. That's family. That's relationships, and that's life. And sometimes I think we get this rosy idea that everything has to be awesome and perfect all the time, or it all sucks, right? It's all horrible. And if you go in with those expectations, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to live your life disappointed, right? So, yeah, that's some wisdom there. Good deal. Good. Well, thank you very much for being a part of the Victory at Home interviews, and thank you just for who you guys are. You guys have, you've worked on your own character, your own lives. That's been obvious, and then you've worked on your marriage and family, and that's a blessing. I tell you, families that are just doing their best to live life in a way that honors God and is a blessing to other people, makes it changes the world. That one life at a time piece that matters. So appreciate you guys.
Thank you.